Much President Donald Trump told reporters yesterday he plans to weigh in on the Texas U.S. Senate race between incumbent John Cornyn and Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. Without his endorsement, this race is neck and neck. The University of Houston poll, showed Paxton with a 3-point lead with a 7% undecided. As state capitol correspondent Adam Schwager reports, this is not the first time Trump has said he's about to weigh in on this race.
Early voting for Texas's primary runoffs starts on May 18th. With 11 days to go, President Trump said this about the top of the ticket Texas Senate primary race.
I'll make a decision. Yeah, I'll make a decision.
When will you make your decision?
Maybe relatively soon.
Would you consider it?
I like them both.
Oil exports.
I like them both.
It's a decision 3 months in the making. When Trump visited Corpus Christi the Friday before the first round of voting, he made a slew of Texas endorsements, but held back on the Senate race. Right after the election, Trump said he'd endorse a candidate soon and asked the other to drop out. At the time, The Atlantic reported Trump was leaning towards Cornyn.
I think he was leaning toward me, and he said that he wanted the person he didn't endorse to drop out. And Paxton immediately said no, he wouldn't drop out, which I think caused some consternation on the part of the president.
When we asked Paxton about the situation in late April, from your perspective, what was happening during that 48-hour window? He pitched us on why Texans and likely the president should back him.
His money comes from D.C. You'll notice you don't see him out doing this stuff. He doesn't campaign because his money comes from D.C. He spent $100 million, and I spent 5.8.
When the president teased his endorsement, one of the stated goals was to focus on attacking the Democratic candidate. Without that, the two have been taking swings at each other.
I think the Attorney General can't raise money because people know that he won't be a good candidate in November. I mean, the goal of politics in these elections is to win.
What has John Cornyn accomplished? Is there anything good he's accomplished, not just in his 24 years in the Senate, but in his 40-plus years in office? And I've never gotten a single answer.
In Republican primaries, Trump's word is as good as gold. According to Ballotpedia, which tracks endorsements, 95% of Trump-endorsed candidates have won their primaries in 2026. Friday marked 65 days since Trump first said his endorsement was imminent, leaving doubt in some minds that he'll ever make a decision in this race. But given how late he weighed in on other Texas races in the first round of voting, pollster Mark Jones says,
until dawn on Election Day, May 26, we can't actually rule out Donald Trump endorsement of one of these two candidates.
In Austin, I'm Adam Schwager.
And whoever wins the runoff will take on Austin area state rep James Tallarico in the November election. You can find our full interviews with Paxton and Cornyn on KXAN.com.